The Galactic Council chamber was alive with noise, its walls glowing with faint blue light from distant stars. Hundreds of alien delegates filled the curved rows, their shapes and colors so different that the chamber looked like a living rainbow. Some were tall and armored in scales, others small and insect-like, and a few so strange they shimmered like smoke. But all of them, no matter their form, shared the same expression: contempt for Earth. The main speaker, a tall creature with skin like silver glass, stood at the center podium. Its voice echoed through the chamber in dozens of languages, each translated into sound that every species could understand. The humans are reckless. They ignore our laws. They expand into systems without permission. They must be taught their place. A wave of agreement rippled across the chamber. Tentacles clapped against metal desks. Wings snapped in approval and sharp claws scratched the voting plates. One delegate, a massive being with 4 glowing eyes, laughed so loudly that it shook the chamber's air filters. Humans, it boomed. They are children playing with fire. They invent weapons before they can walk among the stars. They are a danger to themselves and to us. The laughter spread. It was not kind laughter, but sharp, cruel, the kind that carries no respect. One insectoid alien hissed, "Unfit for the stars, unfit for the council. Remove them before their chaos spreads." Another added, "Yes, strike them now before they dare resist." The vote was called. Lights across the chamber blinked as species cast their choices. Green for yes, red for no. The result came quickly, almost unanimous. Earth would be punished. Its colonies would be seized, its ships dismantled, and its people forced under strict control. To the council it was a simple matter, no more difficult than stepping on an ant. Yet not all were laughing. On the far edge of the chamber, a shadowed figure sat unmoving. Its eyes were dark, unreadable, and its voice was low when it finally spoke. "Do not underestimate them." The laughter faltered for a moment, only to return even louder. "Do not underestimate?" mocked the silver-skinned speaker. "What power could they have? They are not like us. They have no fleets equal to ours, no weapons we cannot break. Do you fear farmers and miners?" The shadowed figure's voice remained steady, carrying a weight that silenced even the loudest jeers. "They are not like us. They fight differently. They do not quit when weaker. They endure. When beaten, they return. You see weakness." "I see danger," the council ignored him. The gavel, a long staff carved from the bones of an extinct beast, slammed against the podium. The decision was final. Earth would face punishment. The humans would learn who ruled the galaxy. But far away on a quiet planet orbiting a yellow sun, humanity listened. Not through the council's grand speeches, not through their proud broadcasts, but through whispers, intercepted signals, and secret recordings smuggled out by hidden friends. In the council chamber, aliens celebrated their decision. They raised cups of glowing liquid, spoke of quick victories, and congratulated themselves on their wisdom. None of them saw the quiet human ambassador rising from his seat. He walked slowly, each step echoing across the floor. His face showed no fear, only a calm that made some delegates uneasy. He stopped at the center of the chamber, looked up at the towering aliens, and spoke in a voice that cut through the laughter like a blade. "You believe Earth is weak?" he said. "You believe humanity will kneel? You are wrong." Gasps rippled through the chamber. A few laughed again, but softer now, less certain. The human's eyes burned as he turned to face the silver-skinned leader. "You have made your decision. But remember mine. Humanity does not forget, and humanity does not forgive." The guards stepped forward, their weapons raised. The human ambassador did not fight them. He simply walked away, his last words carried through the chamber like a curse. "You will regret this." The chamber fell silent for the first time that day. The laughter faded. Even those who mocked felt a small weight in their chest, an unease they could not explain. The shadowed figure who had given the warning leaned forward, his eyes following the human. His voice, barely above a whisper, repeated itself like a prophecy. "Do not underestimate them." The gavel struck once more, sealing Earth's fate. The decision was made, and the council was sure of its strength. But far beyond the chamber, humanity was already preparing, quietly, patiently, with a fire the galaxy had yet to see. The council thought the humans were finished. They could not see the storm waiting in the dark. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On the homeworlds of the council races, banners lit up with the message, "Earth has been judged. Earth will be punished." Alien citizens cheered in plazas, believing a great threat had been removed before it could grow. Fleets were prepared, orders transmitted, and commanders sharpened their weapons. The decision was celebrated as if the war was already won. Yet Earth said nothing. Weeks passed. Normally, when a planet was condemned by the Council, its leaders begged for mercy. Pleas would flow into the chamber. Tearful speeches, desperate promises of loyalty, sometimes even bribes. But this time, nothing. The silence was deafening. Alien media mocked the humans. On screens across hundreds of worlds, alien hosts laughed. Perhaps they are too shocked to speak, one said. Perhaps their primitive networks are still trying to process the Council's words. Another smirked. Or maybe they know they are beaten already. Crowds roared with laughter, but among the soldiers who would soon march on Earth, unease grew. Silence did not fit the stories they had heard. Many remembered the shadowed delegate's warning. Do not underestimate them. Inside the Council, meetings grew heated. Some leaders demanded proof that Earth was preparing to surrender. Others demanded immediate attack. Why wait for their answer? One shouted. Crush them now. Still, no word came from Earth. The human ambassador who had spoken in the chamber had not returned. His seat remained empty. The human flag still hung in the Council's corner, unremoved, like a ghostly reminder. Every day, alien eyes drifted to it, expecting a messenger to arrive. No one came. Back on Earth, however, silence was not weakness. It was the mask before the storm. In underground bunkers, generals met around glowing maps. Fleets were mobilized in secret. Their engines kept cold to avoid detection. New ships, never revealed to the galaxy, were rolled out of hidden hangars buried beneath the ice of Antarctica and deep under the seas. The Council had made a mistake. They believed Earth was only what they saw: small colonies, fragile trade ships, outdated fleets. They did not know what Earth had hidden. They did not know how much humanity had prepared for this very day. Still, from the outside, Earth remained quiet. No threats, no broadcasts, no pleas, nothing but silence. And that silence began to work on the minds of alien commanders. One insectoid general tapped his claws nervously against the table during a strategy meeting. Why do they not speak? Why do they not resist? It feels wrong. His colleague laughed, but there was no joy in the sound, because they know it is useless. But late at night in their quarters, many of these commanders woke sweating from dreams of human soldiers, small, determined, eyes burning with fire. They remembered the wars humans had fought among themselves before reaching the stars. Brutal wars, endless wars. Wars that ended not with surrender, but with one side fighting to the very last breath. The galaxy had never fought such an enemy. One by one, reports trickled in. Strange disappearances. A scout ship gone missing near the asteroid belt. A supply convoy vanishing on the way to Mars. Communications cut off in the Kuiper belt. The Council brushed it aside: accidents, malfunctions, space hazards. But deep down, unease grew. Finally, in the Council chamber, an emergency session was called. The silver-skinned leader slammed his hand on the podium. This silence cannot continue. Send the fleet. End this farce. The vote was swift. Orders were sent. Thousands of warships began their journey toward Earth. Still, no reply from humanity. Alien worlds watched the fleet gather. 1,000,000 soldiers armed themselves, believing they were heading to an easy victory. But even in the celebration, some voices whispered. The shadowed figure, the one who had spoken the warning before, rose once more. They are silent because they are not afraid. They are silent because they are preparing. And when they answer, it will not be with words. The chamber mocked him again, but this time the laughter was thinner, uneasy. Many remembered the human ambassador's final words: "You will regret this." And somewhere hidden in the black between the stars, a human fleet waited. Engines cold, weapons locked, silent as the grave. Earth's silence was not surrender. It was the calm before the strike. The galaxy just didn't know it yet. The fleet moved like a storm across the void. Thousands of Council warships, their hulls gleaming with polished metals, engines blazing like small suns, pushed into the solar system. It was a sight meant to terrify, a wall of fire and steel marching toward Earth. The commanders boasted over open channels, mocking humanity even as their ships crossed the asteroid belt. Earth will burn before its people know we've arrived. One captain sneered. Perhaps we will leave their moon standing. Another laughed, as a warning to others. Across alien worlds, Broadcasts displayed the fleet's progress. Crowds cheered as if watching a parade, convinced victory was inevitable. Children pointed at the glowing maps and asked how long until the humans surrendered. Their parents promised only hours. But the hours stretched and something strange happened. The first wave of ships, the spearhead of the fleet, reached Mars orbit. Then, silence. No reports. No signals. No return feed. At first, the Council commanders thought it was a delay. Space could be unpredictable, interference was common. But as more minutes passed, then hours, unease began to grow. Finally, one of the lead ships managed to send a fragment of data before vanishing. The image was grainy, fractured by static. It showed shadows moving across the void, long dark shapes slipping between the stars, so fast the eye could barely track them. And then light. A flash so bright it consumed the screen. The transmission ended. Panic rippled through the second wave of ships. They slowed, scanning the darkness, but nothing appeared. No enemy vessels on radar, no heat signatures, no signs of life. Just emptiness. And then the shadows returned. They struck without warning. Sleek ships, black as midnight, emerged from nowhere. Their designs were nothing like the old human fleets the Council had studied. These new vessels were sharp, angular, built for war in ways the aliens had never seen. They moved with terrifying speed, weapons firing in silence across the vacuum. Council ships exploded before they could even raise shields. Entire formations were cut down, their wreckage scattering like ash in the void. Officers screamed into their comms, demanding explanations, demanding orders, but the chaos was too great. "What are they?" One alien shouted. "Where did they come from?" cried another. No answer came. Within an hour, the second wave was gone. Hundreds of ships reduced to debris fields orbiting Mars. Only a few survivors managed to flee, their engines burning red with desperation. They carried with them the first whispers of horror. Earth had struck first. In the Council chamber, shock rippled like a storm. Reports were replayed again and again. The shadows, the flashes, the screams. Delegates stared in disbelief, their arrogance crumbling. "Impossible," one muttered. Their fleets were weak, outdated. But the truth was clear. Earth had hidden its true strength. Back on Earth, humanity finally broke its silence. Across alien frequencies, a single broadcast was sent. No speeches, no pleas, just an image. It was Earth seen from orbit, glowing blue against the black of space. Above it, hundreds of dark warships hovered in perfect formation. Human warships. On their hulls burned a symbol that every species recognized, the emblem of Earth. A circle divided by the continents blazing like fire. And then the message came, carried in calm, steady words. "We warned you. We did not seek war. But you brought war to us, and so we answer." The transmission ended. Silence fell again. In the darkness of space, the human fleet moved like predators circling prey. Every Council ship that entered the solar system was hunted down and destroyed. Escape was nearly impossible. Their sensors could not detect the human ships until it was too late. Their weapons barely scratched the strange new armor. They had come expecting surrender. Instead, they found death. On alien worlds, fear began to spread. The broadcasts that once mocked Earth now carried only fragments of desperate reports. "Our fleet has been attacked," one announcer stammered, his voice trembling. We are facing heavy losses." The arrogance that once filled the galaxy was fading. But humanity was only beginning. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, in secret bases carved into the rock of the planet's crust, more ships prepared to rise. War factories lit up in silence, their workers moving with grim determination. They had known this day would come. Humanity had always known. The Council thought Earth would be easy prey. They did not understand what humanity was capable of when pushed against the wall. The first strike was only a warning. The storm had only just begun. The Council called it impossible. Entire fleets wiped out as though they had never existed. In meeting halls across the galaxy, alien commanders shouted over each other, trying to explain what had happened. Some blamed malfunction, some claimed sabotage, others accused rival species of betrayal. But none dared admit the truth aloud. Humanity had outmatched them. The survivors who returned from the solar system were broken, trembling, their voices thin with fear. They spoke of ships that appeared from nowhere, of weapons that struck faster than light, of shadows that moved like predators in the dark. They called them ghosts. One commander, his armor scarred and his eyes hollow, gave testimony to the council. We could not see them. They did not exist on our scanners. Yet they were everywhere. Their ships. They vanished into the dark, then reappeared behind us. We fired blindly. Our weapons did nothing. They tore us apart. Laughter once filled the council chamber when Earth was named. Now there was only silence. Still, arrogance is a stubborn disease. The silver-skinned leader rose once again, his voice harsh. These are only tricks. Technology stolen from somewhere else. Humans are too young, too reckless to have built this themselves. We will send more. We will crush them with overwhelming numbers. But whispers had already begun spreading through the chamber. Whispers of fear. Whispers of doubt. Meanwhile, in the dark space between stars, the ghost fleet moved. The human ships were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Their hulls were blackened, absorbing starlight invisible to the naked eye. Their engines were silent, burning cold until the exact moment they needed speed. They struck without warning, unleashing weapons that cracked open enemy hulls with brutal precision. And then, just as quickly, they were gone. Council fleets tried to adapt. They scattered their formations, deployed sensor drones, even flooded sectors with energy pulses to reveal cloaked ships. Nothing worked. Every countermeasure failed. The humans adapted faster, shifting tactics with a speed no alien fleet could match. Some began to whisper another word alongside ghosts. They whispered demons. One battle near Jupiter became legend. A fleet of 200 council ships surrounded the planet, confident that they could lure the human fleet into open combat. They broadcast their strength across all channels, daring humanity to face them directly. What followed was chaos. The ghost fleet emerged from the planet's shadow, silent and invisible until the last moment. Within minutes, half the council ships were burning wrecks. The rest scattered in panic, fleeing in every direction. The human ships did not pursue. They simply faded back into the void, leaving the survivors to carry their story. And they did. News spread faster than light. The humans had humiliated the council again, entire fleets destroyed, proud generals reduced to broken shells of themselves. Across alien worlds, citizens who once mocked Earth now watched in fear. They began to ask the question no one wanted to answer. If humans can do this to the council, what else can they do? Inside the council chamber, cracks deepened. Some species demanded peace, fearing their own destruction. Others still called for war, insisting that the council's honor was at stake. The chamber shook with division, but underneath it all was a growing, undeniable truth. They were losing. Back on Earth, the ghost fleet prepared for the next stage. In vast hangars hidden beneath the oceans, more ships slid into the water, their dark hulls gleaming under floodlights. Factories deep in the mountains roared with energy, producing weapons that no alien world had ever seen. Humanity had held its secrets for decades, waiting for the day the galaxy would push too far. That day had come, and humanity had no intention of fighting fair. To the council, war was ceremony. Fleets in formation, orders given, honor codes observed. To humanity, war was survival. Humans did not care for ceremony. They cared only for victory. They struck from shadows, used deception, exploited fear. Where the council saw dishonor, humanity saw results. One alien officer who barely escaped a massacre near Saturn gave his final report with shaking hands. They are not soldiers. They are hunters. They fight like predators stalking prey. We are not at war. We are being hunted. The council dismissed him. They had to. If they admitted his words were true, then they would have to admit something far worse. That the humans were winning, and the galaxy was beginning to realize it. On distant worlds, ordinary citizens began to whisper in secret places. The humans are strong. The humans are dangerous. The humans cannot be stopped. Some even began to hope for humanity's victory, though none dared say it aloud. For in the silence of space, the ghost fleet moved again. A message was intercepted, the first human transmission since the council's decision. It was not long, not grand, but its words chilled every heart that heard them. You came as conquerors. You will leave as ashes. The council had wanted silence. Now silence was all they heard, just before their ships exploded in the dark. The galaxy had laughed at Earth once. Now the laughter was gone. The chamber of the Galactic Council, once a place of pride and power, now felt more like a tomb. Delegates no longer laughed when Earth's name was spoken. They no longer sneered or jeered when humans were mentioned. Instead, their voices dropped, hushed and uncertain, as though speaking too loudly might draw humanity's attention. Reports arrived daily, each worse than the last. Fleets gone missing, outposts destroyed, communication relays cut down in silence. What had been a proud interstellar alliance was unraveling piece by piece, and at the center of the storm was Earth. For the first time in living memory, the Council was afraid. An emergency session was called. Delegates gathered in silence, their eyes heavy, their movements stiff. The silver-skinned leader who had once mocked Earth now spoke with an edge of desperation. "We are losing control of the galaxy. If humanity continues, there will be nothing left. We must crush them now, with everything we have." But before another vote could be taken, the chamber darkened, the lights dimmed, the walls flickered. The great holographic map that hovered above the council table sparked to life. But it was not their map anymore. It was Earth's. Every alien froze as they realized what they were seeing. The transmission had not been called. It had not been requested. Humanity had simply taken control. The map showed the galaxy as the council knew it, but marked in red were the systems where Earth's forces now moved. Dozens of worlds, hundreds of fleets. The red spread like fire across dry grass. A voice came through the speakers, calm, steady, unmistakably human. "You brought war to us. We warned you. We asked for peace. But you mocked us. You voted for our destruction. And now you see the result of your choice." The voice belonged to Earth's High Commander. Behind him, alien delegates could see the image of Earth itself. Blue oceans, green continents, glowing cities, untouched, unbroken, thriving. Around the planet hovered human warships, silent and still, waiting like predators ready to strike. The High Commander continued. "We do not conquer for glory. We do not destroy for pride. But we will not kneel. We will not be slaves to your council. You wanted to test humanity. Now you face the answer." As he spoke, the hologram shifted again. This time it showed live feeds from across the galaxy. Alien fleets burning, great space stations torn apart, council fortresses shattered into dust. The screams of commanders filled the chamber before each feed cut to static. The delegates sat frozen, their throats dry, their limbs trembling. It was not just words anymore. It was proof. Proof that humanity was no longer the prey. Proof that humanity had become the hunter. The High Commander's voice softened, but the weight of it was heavier than any weapon. "We did not begin this war, but we will finish it. And when it is done, the galaxy will remember. You will remember that Earth fights back." The transmission ended. The chamber's lights flickered back to life. For a long moment, no one spoke. The silence was heavier than the endless noise that had once filled this hall. Finally, one insectoid delegate whispered, his mandibles clicking nervously, "What have we done?" Across alien worlds, the message spread instantly. Citizens who had once cheered the council now watched in horror as Earth's fleets advanced. Some prayed for peace. Others fled their cities, terrified that humanity's wrath would reach their homes next. The galaxy that had mocked Earth now trembled at its shadow. But for humanity, the message was only the beginning. On Earth, the people stood united. No longer were they scattered colonies or divided nations. They were one species, one force, bound together by the knowledge that they had survived what no one thought they could, and now they carried the fire of vengeance into the stars. In the secret command bunkers, more fleets were launched. Commanders reviewed alien strategies, learning their weaknesses, exploiting every flaw. For every battle the Council planned, humanity had already prepared 10 counters. They were faster, hungrier, and far more ruthless. The Ghost Fleet became a legend whispered across space. Council soldiers, once proud and fearless, now dreaded the thought of entering human-controlled zones. Some deserted before the battles even began, terrified of vanishing into the same silence that had claimed so many before them. In the council chamber, desperation grew. Some leaders begged for peace. "Send envoys," they pleaded. "Offer them a truce before we lose everything." Others, blinded by arrogance still, shouted for escalation. "More fleets, more weapons. They cannot fight us all." But the truth hung in the air like a shadow. Earth could fight them all. And worse, Earth was winning. The silver-skinned leader slammed his clawed hand against the table. We cannot surrender to them. If we bow to humanity, every species will bow as well. The council will collapse. A reptilian delegate turned his gaze, his voice quiet but sharp. Perhaps it already has. And still, above all their voices, echoed the words humanity had spoken. We did not begin this war, but we will finish it. The council knew what came next. Humanity would not stop. They would push forward until the galaxy itself was forced to bow or burn, and no one, not even the council, could deny it any longer. The galaxy's silence had ended. Now, it was humanity's voice that roared. The chamber of the Galactic Council had never been so quiet. Where once 1,000 voices clashed like thunder, now only silence lingered. Delegates who once laughed at Earth's weakness sat trembling in their seats. Their pride had been stripped away. Their fleets lay shattered. Their outposts burned in silence. Every display around the chamber showed the same thing, red marks spreading across the star map. Each red mark meant another council fleet destroyed, another stronghold lost, another planet cut off from support. Humanity's advance was unstoppable. The silver-skinned leader tried to rise, his voice cracking as he shouted, "We cannot give in to fear. We are the council. We have ruled for centuries. Humanity is nothing but a child with stolen fire." But his words carried no strength anymore. Too many fleets had fallen. Too many generals had failed to return. Even those who once followed him with blind loyalty looked away in shame. Then the chamber doors opened. A figure stepped inside, quiet, calm, unguarded. It was the human ambassador, the same man who had walked out on the day the council declared Earth's punishment. His uniform was plain, without armor or weapon, yet his presence filled the vast hall more than any of the towering alien delegates. No guard stopped him. No one dared. He walked to the center of the chamber, his boots echoing on the polished floor. He did not bow. He did not lower his eyes. He stood tall, staring up at the delegates who once mocked his people. "You remember me?" he said simply. Whispers spread like fire. Some delegates leaned back as though distance might protect them. Others glared with hatred, but none spoke. The ambassador's voice remained calm, steady, cutting through the silence. "You voted for Earth's destruction. You believed we would kneel. You believed we would beg. But now you see us for who we are." He raised his hand and the holographic map above the chamber flickered again. This time it showed something worse than before. Not just fleets destroyed, but council core worlds surrounded. Planetary defenses breached. The ghost fleet positioned above worlds once thought untouchable. "This is not conquest," the ambassador continued. "This is justice. You brought war to our people. You chose to test us, and we answered. We will not enslave you. We will not erase you. But understand this. Never again will humanity kneel to this council." The delegates trembled. The words struck harder than any weapon. The silver-skinned leader slammed his hands on the table, desperation twisting his features. "You cannot threaten the council. If you destroy us, the galaxy will fall into chaos. Do you wish to rule in ruin?" The human's eyes narrowed. His answer was sharp as a blade. "We do not wish to rule, but we will never be ruled by you. Remember that." At that moment, across alien worlds, the same broadcast was playing. Billions watched as the human ambassador spoke, his words reaching every corner of the galaxy. Citizens who had never seen a human before now stared into his eyes, and what they saw was not weakness, but unshakable strength. Some whispered in fear. Others in secret whispered in hope. For the first time, species under the council's heavy hand wondered if humanity's victory might also be their freedom. The council chamber erupted into chaos. Some delegates begged for peace, their voices frantic. Others cursed humanity, calling for vengeance even as their worlds burned. But through it all, the human ambassador stood unmoved, as though carved from stone. Finally, his voice cut through the noise once more. "Humanity did not seek this war, but now that you have brought it to us, we will finish it. And when the galaxy remembers this day, it will remember not the council's decision, but Earth's answer." He turned, walking back toward the doors. No one stopped him. No one dared. His footsteps faded into silence, but his words remained, heavy and inescapable. When the doors closed, the chamber fell still. Not one alien dared to speak. For outside, in the endless dark, the ghost fleet waited. Above council worlds, human ships held their positions, black against the stars, weapons locked, engines silent. They did not fire, not yet. Their silence was louder than any explosion. It was a silence that told the galaxy one truth: humanity now held the power. On alien homeworlds, citizens gathered in plazas to watch the skies. They feared fire might rain down at any moment. And yet it did not. Humanity had proven it could destroy them. Instead, it chose to wait. The waiting was worse than the fire. The galaxy was stunned. The proud council that had ruled for centuries was powerless. The humans, once dismissed as reckless and weak, now stood as giants. And far away, in hidden command halls deep beneath Earth's soil, human generals studied the map of the galaxy. Their eyes were hard, their voices calm. The council wanted war, one said. Now they will learn what war truly means. The silence stretched across the stars. The council could not laugh anymore. The galaxy could not mock, for Earth had risen. Humanity had struck back. And the galaxy would never be the same again.